Hop on in, everybody. Welcome. All right. So we're going to jump in. We have a jam-packed, exciting day. I cannot believe that we are over 75% through 60 days deals. But let's see how the energy is today. Type it in the chat, 1 out of 10. How's your energy? Get some interactions. Harry said if we got a bunch of high energy people, he's going to share some amazing value. But if not, he's only going to share mediocre value. Hey, we got a 10, baby. I like it. All right, we got lots of 9s and 10s. This is good. All right, welcome, day 46. So we talked a little bit yesterday. We've been talking about finding deals, lead flows, closing deals, negotiating them. We've been talking about how to close them and ensure it's done right. And we keep getting all these questions. And the questions I keep prefacing with I'm not an attorney. And so everything I'm about to tell you is probably a load of crap. So we decided we'd bring an actual real life attorney on. Mr. Harry Borders generously decided to show up. And if you don't mind, just tell everybody what you're doing and who you are, Harry, and then we'll delve in a little bit.
My name is Harry Borders. I'm very happy to be here. I've been friends with Andrew for, 8 or 10 years since he came screaming onto the scene in Louisville, Kentucky. I've been practicing real estate law in Kentucky for about 33 years. I love what I do. I'm a family man, got a blended family of 7 kids and a beautiful wife. And that's me.
I love
Happy
it.
to be here.
Thanks for being with us, man. Good to see you always. Brother Leo, how's your energy today, man? Drop us some inspiration if you're feeling it.
Of course, it's good. We got so much things going on where sometimes, when we have 60 days worth of Zooms every day, you kind of learn to level out your energy. So when for me noon hits or when you 3 hits, we kind of get this little spike because you gotta get the energy up for everybody in here. So I'm happy to be here. Good to see you, Harry. You're very loved in this community, whether you know it or not. So you got right now 70 listeners who are, ears wide open, ready to take it in. And I hope everyone on here realizes the opportunity we have right now to listen to somebody like Harry, who's been in this business for so long and who does it right, who does it ethically, and who really is able to, save our butts in a lot of situations. But this is something that people would pay tens of thousands of dollars just to sit down with Harry, just to learn from him. So I hope you guys understand that, realize that, and see kind of the effort Andrew had to do to twist Harry's on to be on here from his busy day. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Now, a couple of notes that I just learned about Harry. I've known him many years and didn't know this, but I learned today he's 29 years old and been in law for 33 years. And so we learned that. We just done a podcast together. We'll be releasing in a few days. So those was some cool nuggets. I want to mention to you all, though, I wish, and I share this from truly from the heart, and we're going to get to questions too. Harry's generously agreed to answer some questions at the end of the day. From the heart, I want to share how much in the beginning I dreamed of having an amazing attorney and friend in my corner like Harry. And I didn't know Harry for the first year plus of my business. And Harry has saved my butt so many times since then and got me out of trouble for before then, helped save me a ton of money. The cost of knowledge is a heck of a lot cheaper than the price of ignorance. So it's very, very important that we get to enjoy today. It's going to be fun. Harry always is a blast, kind of like Jordan, who you guys met the other day, but also that we take this moment to utilize the information to help our businesses go and grow in the right direction, right? So, Harry, first off, there's what do we have now? 74 people, I think, on here, 70 something people hanging out. There'll be some more logging in here in a moment. But for the on timers, what's a special piece of value you want to give the all timers before we start getting into the nitty gritty?
I had a law school professor who taught me a very valuable lesson one day. He asked me a question about a case that I had not read because he didn't give it to us. And he asked me, what are the elements of arson in the state of Iowa? And I looked at him and I thought, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I was going to fake it. And I was real proud of the way I was faking it. I had the little hairs on the back of my neck prickling up, and I'm going and I'm saying, there's got to be a fire, and there's got to be damage, and there's got to be intent. And he looks at me, and in his Eastern Kentucky accent, he says, Mr. Borders, what in the hell are you doing? I didn't realize that hail was 3 syllables, but it is in Eastern Kentucky. What in the hell are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to answer your question, Dean Lawson. And he said, did you read anything about the elements of arson in Iowa? And I said, no, sir, I didn't. And he said, then what the hell are you doing? And I said, I'm doing the best I could do, sir. And he said, you need to learn a very valuable lesson. And he was right. And he said, the valuable lesson you need to learn is it's way more important to know what you don't know than to know what you know. Because if you make decisions without knowledge and without the skills to make those decisions, they can be very, very, very costly decisions. So surround yourself, and you're doing it very well today because you got 76 of you on here. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people that know more than you do. There are so many, I've been doing this a long time, but there are so many people that know more than I do. And I surround myself with them. I don't make a decision in a vacuum. I vet my own decisions with somebody like Andrew. Andrew, what do you think about this? He does the same thing. We bounce our ideas off of each other, and we don't make decisions within the 4 corners of my head. I ask a lot of questions of people smarter than me, and that keeps me so far from trouble. I don't make bad decisions any longer because I'm not the only one making the decision. I wish somebody had taught me that a long time ago.
That's a writer downer. I hope all of you are taking notes. Well, we're up to 86 now. We'll be at 100 here in a couple minutes. So Harry dropping some major notes there from the very beginning. And I want to do this because something that I think is very important for you all as we hang out together. Some of you are brand new here. This is your first 3 or 4 times, maybe even your first day seeing Leo and I and what we're doing. And many of you have been here for the last few weeks. So welcome. And some of you I'm going to see, and Harry's going to see tonight in the other room at the meetup. And we're excited to see many of you who get to make it to the meetup in the other room tonight. So, by the way, if you're coming to the meetup, just type it in the chat. Yes. I want to see how many of the folks on here are going to be there. See how many we got coming from the Zoom hopping over. Paul, if you don't mind, put that meetup, once they get done typing yes, put that meetup link in the chat. We got a wish we could. We'll give you a free pass this time, Tom. We'll see you in August, though. Good. So Paul's going to put the meetup in the chat for any of you who have not yet registered to the meetup tonight. The meetup is tonight at 5:30 p.m. and we're going to have a blast. Harry's going to be here. Some of our private lenders are going to be here. We got Wes and Jake. We got Judy Sweeney. Many of you know. Judy might even be on here if she's not off closing a deal. So we're going to have a blast. For all of you, we like to just roll back the curtain, the good, the bad, the ugly. And what happens for us is you see something, it's cool, right? You see, you hung out with Leo and I for many days now, some of you. You know what we do, you know our business, you know we buy houses on terms, we use the Bofslow method, and you're seeing kind of what we do. And as we are spending these remaining 13 days together, and for many of you, the beginning of a lifetime relationship, because we'll be hanging out in August, and many of you have jumped in the Bofslow Accelerator, applied for the mastermind. And as we are working together, you're going to see more and more of our real life, which is this, right? Hanging out with Harry, hanging out with smart people who continue to help us improve our business, right? Because I would be an idiot to think that I should go become a real estate attorney and every one of you should go become real estate attorneys to get your first deal. That's not how this works. We need to surround ourselves by incredible people who can cover our butt and tell us where we're going wrong before we go there. That's why you guys are here. That's why you're hanging out with the smart people. That's why you hire the guidance you do. So you're in the right place at the right time. And I'm excited to be hanging out with you and to get to answer a lot of your questions with Harry here today. So About half the folks on here are brand new, looking for the first deal, Harry. And about half have done anywhere from, a few deals to many dozens, a couple of them even 100+ deals. So what would you say is the first thing for the new crowd, before we get to the experienced crowd, for the new crowd, what's the first thing they need to be doing to make sure they're ready to close their deal, as far as finding a real estate attorney and making sure their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted?
So first of all, there's this thing called the internet. And you can find anything that you need, except for the fact that probably what you find is not really what you need. You need to find an attorney that will give you for free contracts that you need. The contracts in Kentucky are a little bit different than Indiana. They're probably a little bit different than Illinois. You need to find somebody that can help you to make sure that you keep yourself out of trouble. If you listen to the podcast down the line that gets posted, the one that we just did, you'll hear this story. I had a young guy come in and meet me, and this was his first wholesale deal. And he came in and he was very, very nervous. And I said, "What's going on? Let me help you understand what's going on." And he handed me this piece of paper. And he said, "Well, I got this lady under contract at $40,000, but I overpriced it. So then I went to my buyer's list and nobody wanted to buy it. And now I have this letter here," which he was shaking. And he said, "Tell me I'm not in trouble." And I looked at it, and it was a letter from an attorney where the lady that he was going to buy the house for $40,000 had just sold it for $32,000. And he was being told, "You owe this lady $32,000. And the reality is he did. He owed her $8,000 because 40 minus 32 is 8. He did it wrong. He didn't ask for help. It's not okay to ask for help. It's mandatory to ask for help. You don't know things until you know things. I'm learning things all the time. We were talking about that there in the podcast. We're both lifelong learners. We're always trying to do better and learn more and understand deeper than what we did before. Please do not write your own contract. Just ask. You'll get my contact information. If you want my contracts, just text me, email me. "Harry, send me your contracts," and I'll be happy to send them to you.
That's awesome. Awesome advice. And I think it's important. And that goes back to why we, of course, if you're not in the circle, make sure you're in there. That's why we hang out and make sure you have the right documents. We have the documents we get from Harry. We have the documents that we close these deals with, because they have to all be done right. We're going to be giving away some of those tonight at the meetup as well. All right. So what would you say, Harry, for those who have done some deals? They've done a deal, 2 deals, 3 deals. They're starting to hold properties, and they're looking at this going, "Okay, I need to make sure my entities are in order." Who needs land trusts? Who needs LLCs? What do they need?
So you need an attorney that you have a good, comfortable, friendly relationship with, that will give you the time of day to review what you've got. Because what Andrew needs is not the same thing that Harry needs, which is not the same thing that Leo needs, which is not the same thing that the first-time investor is going to need. Your asset protection plan grows as your assets grow. I'm very much a keep it simple, stupid kind of a guy. I don't want to make it overly complicated, because then it's easy to mess it up. And messing it up could have some very dire financial consequences associated with it. So I like to keep things easy, but as your assets grow, your asset protection plan needs to grow right along with you. So you should have an annual checkup with your attorney. Tell them what you've done. Tell them the direction that you think you're going to go, and they will help you to figure out whether we need to move in a different direction or not. I tell every one of my investor clients, who most of them are my friends as well, please come see me in November or December every year, so I can see what you did. You can tell me where you're going, and collectively, you and I can figure out where we need to go. It's not rocket science. It's not supposed to be.
So what's the most frightening thing that you've encountered in closing deals, Harry? What's been something that you've seen somebody screwed it up and you fixed it easily? You're like, "Crap, and they just would have known this up front. I could have solved it."
We see so many opportunities to fix things up front. Figure it out before you jump into it. Again, jump into the community before you jump into the real estate deals. Find somebody that's doing what you want to do at the level you want to do it, and ask for their advice. Real estate investors, as a large degree, are a massive abundance mentality organization. All of us had to climb on the shoulders of those that came before us in order for us to get to the heights that we have achieved. Now it's our turn to lift you up and to help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're shy, you got to get over it. We talked about this on the podcast as well. Growth does not occur within the comfort zone. Growth occurs outside your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable in order to be able to succeed and to grow.
That's a writer downer. Growth does not occur inside the comfort zone. There's always growth on the other side of what's uncomfortable. That is powerful. What's the thing, Harry, you most see new or newer investors, only done a couple of deals, few deals, get jammed up on? Where do you see them kind of tripping themselves up where they can just
see two things, and I see them equally. One is paralysis by analysis. You can come in and see me and you won't get a bill for coming in to see me. You can come in the next time and you won't get a bill to come in to see me. You can come in the next time and you won't get a bill to see me. But eventually you've got to do something.
Which I have to interrupt you. That's not common, by the way, for attorneys. So if you're calling your local attorney and thinking you're going to go see them 4 times and not paying, it's probably not going to happen.
We work the same way that other real estate investors work on the IFCO. If I treat you well and I give you good advice, I'm going to see you in some paying capacity down the line. So we don't worry about it. But paralysis by analysis is a big problem. But so is knowing more than what you know. When you think you know more than you know, that's a very dangerous thing. That's the Dean Lawson story that I just told you. You have to know when you don't know, and you have to surround yourself with like-minded people that can help you to figure it out. If you stay away from those two, you're riding right down the middle and you got a great opportunity for an incredible career, life-changing opportunity for you and your family.
So I want to do this so I don't forget. And Tommy, grab this footage later and jam it over to the podcast. How can everyone here reach you before we start asking questions?
The easiest way is email Harry, Harry, at harryborders.com, BORDERS, Harry at harryborders.com, or office 502-238-1115, 502-238-1115. And if you're not Kentucky, you're welcome to call me nonetheless. I probably can still help you.
That's cool. That's a huge gift right there. So thank you for that, Harry. In fact, everybody just type a big thank you in the chat to Harry.
Y'all are funny.
Thank you, Harry. Hey, I got a couple questions for you. I think we'll add a lot of value to everyone here because it's such a unique perspective that you're able to give that many, many, many people are not able to. But you see so many different investors that come to the closing table. Some of them come multiple times. Some of them keep coming. Some of them come every single week. What do you see is the difference in attitude for those who keep coming back to the closing table and who keep doing these deals and bigger deals and continue to be successful versus those who may be a little bit more apprehensive, some who come to you and don't actually take action, or some who come and close one deal and then they come back, 6 months later? Like, what is the attitude that you see with the successful investors who keep coming back to the table?
I try to live every aspect of my life with passion. I do that at work. I do that at home. I do that with my investment portfolio. If I don't enjoy doing it, I don't do it. I do have a true passion for helping investors who are my friends, but I have a true passion for doing real estate deals. I love them. My brother-in-law, he came to me the other day and he said, Harry, why are you doing this next deal? And I told him about what my next deal was. And he said, why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this, right? And I said, no, I know I don't have to do this. Why am I doing it? Because I like it. It's fun. I love doing what I do. I'm going to keep on doing things that I love to do as long as God is willing to allow me to keep doing things that I love to do. Passion is the big difference. There's a guy locally, he might be here tonight, I'm not sure. He's probably got 400 doors. They're all paid for. He doesn't want for anything. And I asked him one day, why do you do what you're doing? I love it. I love it. I love what I do. And when I don't, I won't do it anymore. But right now I still do. So that's the biggest motivator, is if you love what you do, you will do it at a high level.
And how did you find love for this business? You know, what were the pieces that really hooked you on, and, you know, talking to these people, talking to the community, just doing the business in general, what got you hooked on?
So I am by nature a serial entrepreneur, but I live in a confined space of an attorney. And I had to figure out how to make doing closings something bigger and deeper and more important than just doing closings. And it came to me one day when I was talking to an investor who was buying a house for an investment. And I never knew anybody did that before. His name's Warren Jacobs, super nice guy. Warren came in, next month he came in, the next month he came in, the next month he came in, and a light switch flipped off in my mind. And I thought, if Warren is here every month, there's got to be more than one Warren. So I went out and I saw where are the Warrens of the world, and they're within my local RIA. And I jumped in with both feet, and I educated myself as much as I could. I tried to be creative and help my clients, and it's just been a fun, wild ride. I just love what I do.
That's a great point, or a great takeaway there, is Harry just explained looking for target rich environments where he could find the Warrens. Which is the same thing we've been sharing with all of you, to go to the meetups, to hang out on here with 100 other people on Zoom, and to come to our local meetup for those of you who are near Louisville. For those of you who are coming to hang out with us at the Truca Real Estate event, it's always about being in those target rich environments, going, all right, how do I get closer to the people who are doing the thing so I can be more of that person?
About a decade ago, I had a midlife crisis in the form of a Jeep Wrangler. And when I took the top off and took the doors off the Jeep Wrangler, it was magic. I loved it. And when I bought this Jeep Wrangler, apparently the public got wind of the fact that Harry Borders is driving a Jeep Wrangler. Because next thing you know, I'm seeing these daggone Jeep Wranglers everywhere that I am. And then I decided I can't work or listen to the radio in my Jeep Wrangler, because it was an old used one. And it was so stinking loud that I literally couldn't work or talk or listen to the radio. So I sold my Jeep Wrangler. And once I sold my Jeep Wrangler, apparently when word got out that they're not cool anymore because Harry has sold his Jeep Wrangler, so I never saw another Jeep Wrangler. It was the darndest thing. And of course, that's not really what happened. What really happened was my reticular activator was looking for Jeep Wranglers when I owned one. When I sold my Jeep Wrangler, my reticular activator had gone on to something else. I tell you the goodness truth. My reticular activator for real estate is firing all of the time. On my way over here, I jotted down 2 addresses, driving for dollars. I'm old school. I jotted down 2 addresses of properties that I need to look into. I am always looking. I'm always looking for opportunities, and I'm finding them because I'm looking for them. That's what your reticular activator does. What you focus on is what you see. The more you focus on opportunities, the more opportunities you will see.
That's a big one. Anything you got to add to that, Leo, before we hop over to questions?
I'm gonna steal that one. That one's gonna come out of my mouth one day with the
I
Jeep
was
Wrangler.
already thinking about branding it for the Truca Real Estate event. So none of you
100%.
got
Wow, that was great. Anyways, I got one more in terms of that idea of always seeing opportunity, always seeing things abundantly. You know, there's 100 people on here where a percentage of the people here, they see that, they look at the opportunity, they look at, you know, this potential here, being a part of this community, learning this business. But what would you say to them is this opportunity that is in front of them, even with the market how it is, even with the world how it is, all these different things, but us being where we are in this speck of time with real estate, how would you describe through your mind the opportunity rather, that is in front of everyone here?
The opportunity is always in front of you. Again, what you look for is what you're going to find. People can find excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, the interest rates are too high. That's a perfect opportunity for owner financing or creative financing. Oh, the prices are going up too high. That means that next year they're going to be higher than what I paid for them today. There's always an opportunity for us to figure out why we shouldn't do it. But the reality is, McDonald's is not a hamburger company. McDonald's is a landlord. McDonald's made their money on real estate. There are so many millionaires through real estate, more than in my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. There are way more real estate related millionaires than there are anything else. The guy that walks in with paint all over his knees and dirty shoes and leaves scuff marks on my floors, that's the millionaire next door. The opportunities are always there within real estate. And time cures everything in real estate. If it's not the greatest deal in the world, hold on, it'll get there. Real estate is just one of those things that it's always the right time to make the move. I got in on a pre-construction condo in Florida in 2008, which, if you know anything about 2008, that was literally the worst time ever to get into a pre-construction condo in Florida. So I figured out a way to get out of that deal. Well, I made a mistake the other day, and I Googled that property and I found out what that thing was worth. So from 2008 until 2024, we got 16 years in there. In that 16-year period, that condo that I would have overpaid by a lot has gone up 4 times. Time cures. Real estate is the one investment that is always, over the long haul, going to go in that direction. It always has, it always will. You're welcome to quote me on that. It always has, it always will. Give it some time. You might have to, but it's always going up. There's never an excuse to not invest in real estate.
That's a good takeaway. Well, we got lots of questions that's been rolling in. So let's wrap up with the questions before we go hang out with all the Boslo, Freedom Life, and ticket holders over in the VIP live dialing Zoom. What's our question?
Right. Let's see if we can go through these rapid fire here before VIP starts. First question comes from Fearless Eddie. He says there's a misconception that real estate lawyers are expensive to work with or must pay before any paperwork completion. Could you please elaborate? And I know we touched on that a little bit already.
Yeah, you just need to find the right person. I mean, I work on the IFCOM. My attitude, we were talking earlier, if you have to interview 10 different real estate attorneys to find the right one with the right attitude, interview 10 of them. Sometimes you got to coach them. If you're in a small town and your real estate attorney doesn't understand all of the nuances and you need them to up their game, tell them what you want them to learn. That's what literally had to happen with me. Harry, I want you to understand the ins and outs of land trusts. And my answer was, oh, that's smoke and mirrors. You don't need to do that kind of stuff. I had to be schooled on it. You may have to educate them, but go out and keep looking until you find somebody with that attitude. Somebody came to me and said, look, if you can get good at this, then everybody will come to you for their closings, which means I don't have to charge for a contract or charge for a contract question. I just got to treat you well, earn my spot on your team. And if I didn't earn a spot on the team, then shame on me, not shame on you. But that's got to be the attitude of the attorney that you're working with, because you have the ability to drive an awful lot of business to your closing attorney. They should recognize it as that. I do. A whole lot of others do.
Awesome. And you know what? That question touches really, Harry, on Tom's question, which is when I speak with real estate attorneys, sometimes I get a feedback that says, your approach seems a little shady. We decline. And so it's like you said, they got to keep interviewing and they got to coach him if needs be.
What would your comeback be to an attorney who says that buying on terms is shady?
I would explain to them the benefits from every party's perspective. Look, if you're ethical, and all of you guys, that's what your goal is. The ethical guys and girls are the ones that are going to succeed. The guys that are scum, nobody wants to work with them. Everybody wants to work with the folks that are ethical. Explain, if it's not a win-win or a win-win-win, then go home and don't do it. I'll never put anybody in a position where they feel like they're getting the bad end of the deal.
Amen to that. What's next?
All right. Next question comes from Sharon. She says, is there a statute of limitations when foreclosing on someone? Would love to know if you've ever seen it.
So the statute of limitations in Kentucky is 15 years past the maturity. So if it's a 30-year mortgage, then you got 15 years on top of the 30.
All right. Next question comes from Jason. He says, can you expound on the Bofslow method a little?
Buy on under finance, sell on lease option. That's our main strategy for acquiring assets. Harry closes the deals for us. We buy them on terms by taking over the debt or buying it, paying the seller directly. And then our exit strategy on almost all the properties is to put a tenant in who wants to buy the property down the line, so they take care of the property and give us a non-refundable option deposit the day they move in. And to further expound on that, Jason, to catch up, go to my YouTube and you'll see, make sure you're in the circle as well, the circle app, but you'll see all the trainings about the Bofslow and how you can get your first deal.
All right. Next question comes from Sharon. She says, as long as the seller exempts their house from their Chapter 13, can I still buy it subject to?
Yes.
All right. Question from Tom. He says, should we seek an attorney locally or statewide?
Depends on who you can find where you are. If you live in a bigger city, you can find somebody locally, pick somebody locally. But having said that, we work across the state of Kentucky because there's not a lot of people that specialize the way that we do.
All right. Last question today is, we have a holding company and two, which is two LLCs. One is a management LLC and our main LLC. How do we utilize each property? How do we utilize each properly? Forgive me.
So if you, that's a more complicated question than we might have time for, but I'll take a stab at it nonetheless. Management income is active income, which means it's taxed at a higher tax bracket than rental income is. So unless and until your portfolio of holdings gets to be substantial, we being me as an attorney and me being pretend to be CPA, wouldn't recommend that you manage your own properties out of a management company, because effectively what you're doing is you're taking $1 out of your pocket, putting it into your other pocket. And when you put it in your other pocket, it's not $1, it's less, because management income is taxed at a higher tax bracket than rental income is. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to do that. Now, if you have 200 doors, certainly it makes sense just for ease of running the business to not have to have 10 LLCs or 5 LLCs spread about. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. When the threshold for pain of self-managing out of the LLC is high enough, it makes sense to do it, but sometimes it doesn't. Certainly not if you have just a couple of LLCs and a couple of properties.
Awesome questions. And thank you, Harry, for hanging out with us today. And we're getting ready to be hanging out some more in the other room. And for all of you, 3 more notes. Number 1, be back tomorrow, same place, same time. We have a jam-packed fun day tomorrow. These next, 13 days we have left together are jam-packed with amazing guests. Today you've seen Harry. We've got additional amazing guests from our team coming on. We're going to be sharing with you. Second note, all of you who requested funding the end of last week to see if you can qualify for business funding have received a link to be able to fill out to see what you qualify for. If you are turned down initially in the front end, not to worry, because they have over 40 programs available to you. So we have other options available. So make sure you're filling those out. All of you who requested business funding the end of last week, you would have received that last night or yesterday. And then third, last but not least, if you're in this area, make sure you come to tonight's event. And whether you're in this area or not, make sure you're registered for August 14, 15, and 16. All right. Keep killing it, guys. Go make some monies. All of our ticket holders, Bob Slow, Freedom Life. I'll see you on the VIP Zoom in like 120 seconds, however long it takes me to get from here to there.